Joining me today is Kerry Rochford Hague, who is a community educator at the Turning Points Network. So Kerry, you know, I want to talk about first maybe your role as the community educator. And I want to drill in a little bit further about the services that you provide. And I'm pretty flexible how we want to go. Can we start with sort of your role as an educator? What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
So at Turning Points, we're very fortunate that our board of directors is very supportive of our prevention education. And so we have programming that we offer to schools, as well as outreach that we do to the general community. It might mean meeting with a group of folks to talk about our services. Sometimes we are able to work with providers, other social service providers, medical folks, first responders, to train them about how to support survivors of domestic and sexual violence.
So you really are constantly thinking, I guess, about how do you prevent it? How do you work with the people who are going to be first responders? And that's got to be very different challenges, different audiences too, right? You run a gamut of, you know, people with MDs to kindergartners. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, which is great. It makes the work exciting. And I think, you know, we want to be able to respond to the current needs that folks have. That's the intervention that we're doing, making sure that our shelter and our offices are available to folks, that the services are available 24 hours a day. That's the intervention part. And then the prevention part is working with providers, trying to build that supportive community so that no matter where someone reaches out, maybe it's to a coworker or to a family member, they'll know, hey, there's a place, Turning Points Network, you can call there. We have friends and family who call us wanting to know how to support someone that they care about. So our outreach is really community-wide, and it's I love the opportunity to work with the youth. You know, they're our hope for the future, and when they're given the opportunity to talk about respect and to talk about healthy relationships, they have a lot to say. So that's a real energizing part of the work.
When you say they have a lot to say, when you hear from them, what are they saying? How do they look at this?
Well, we have one program that we do that's a body safety program, which is specifically looking at preventing child sexual abuse. And we talk with students about okay secrets and not okay secrets, and okay touches and not okay touches. And when we reach kids at an elementary level with that, they're very open to that. They want to know about how to keep themselves safe. And we sing songs with them, and we talk about, you know, who they can go to for help if we call them warning feelings or uh-oh feelings, if something's making them feel uncomfortable. And they're right there. They want to learn about it. And to me, that's the inspiring part, is thinking we have the opportunity to really reach kids at a young age with information about boundaries, about respect, about healthy relationships.
Is there any pushback in the community and the schools from this activity? Or is it generally everybody sort of understands it's important?
You know, I think it can vary, but I think overall there's a greater awareness now for the need for this. I mean, just listening to the national news, we know sexual assault is in the news, and we hear situations about child sexual assault, people well-known, well-respected coaches, mentors that have abused kids, and parents want to know, how do I keep my kids safe? What do I need to teach my kids in order to help them be safe? And last year we offered a workshop for the community about keeping kids safe in a complex world. These are not easy topics to talk with kids about, but we need to empower them to know what's okay and what's not okay, and where to go if they feel uncomfortable.
And I guess, a lot of us would think, oh, this can't happen here. But that's not really the case, is it?
I mean, I think that over the years for me working at Turning Points, that I continue to be reminded about that, you know, in a small community we can feel sheltered and safe from all of that, but it's everywhere. It's in small towns, it's in big cities. These issues are not particular to a certain demographic area or group of people.
They cross every boundary that we can imagine?
It really does, yep.
So what's the caseload in Sullivan County, for example, that you see in a normal year?
Last year we worked with 961 survivors, and that's Sullivan County. That's a lot of people.
And we're not talking preventative caseload, that's just, these are people that had to come in and seek help.
That's right, yep. And you know, when we think about that number, we know there were a lot of other people who maybe reached for the phone and had the phone taken out of their hand, or who reached for the phone and decided that they weren't quite ready to call. And that's why our outreach is so important, because when people come to Turning Points really at all different stages of recognizing what's happening in their lives and at all different stages of healing. And our door is open. Sometimes we have people come to us for services and they're pulled back into an unhealthy relationship, but our door is open. And they might come back to us 2 weeks later or 2 months later or 2 years later. And our philosophy is that we know it's a process to get out of an unhealthy relationship, and so we're there no matter what.
And it's a complicated one, but right now we're at